Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Ahmaduhu wa asta'inuhu wa astadihi wa astaghfiruhu wa uminu bihi jalla wa ala wa la akfuruhu wa ashhadu wa la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Arsalahu bil huda wa dinil haq liyudhhiruhu ala din kulihi wallahu karihal mushrikun. All praise belongs to Allah. We praise Him, we seek His help, His assistance, and His guidance. We believe in Him and do not disbelieve in Him. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is His servant and messenger. Allah said him, that is Muhammad, with Deen al-Haq, the religion, the way, the methodology of truth. And this way of life known as Islam will rise to its proper position in this world, whether the mushriks like it or not. Alhamdulillah. Today, this is, in a few hours it'll be 2020. We've been talking about 2020 vision a long time. And the reason I brought these is a reference to where we've been and inshallah where we want to go. We've started off the other day by talking about the absurdity we're going to have for our defense in Oakland is the absurdity defense. That everything they're doing is absurd. It's just, we don't want to spend no much time on it, but that during this section of time, we want to teach peace, harmony, and high society expectations. So that means we want to be in a process, the word control our evolution is too strong of a word, but let's, like we say, we want to influence the direction of change, not control the direction of change. Well, this one has to do with semi-regulate our evolution. In other words, the human being, during this stage of development, should not allow capitalism, it shouldn't allow money and all of those things to control evolution, right? That is in technology or anything else. Because this is a very critical period in history. This is one of those great periods in history where things that was one thing 5 years ago, today, bam! It's just, technology is in control of us. The police, information gathering, old type, putting a spike in your house so they could hear what you was going to say. Later on, pointing stuff at your windows where they could hear what you're saying. And now, they don't have to do none of that. All of that is just in-house stuff. And they got what you buy, what you eat, all of that stuff is just, if you use a credit card, or this card or that card, they know your whole diet, they know what you eat, because you go to the store and you bought this, there it is, right? I mean, so this is a government, 1984 is child's play compared to what they do now. And then it don't even look like it. And it's slipped up on people so fast that they don't even talk about, well, where's our right to privacy? I got something in the mail the other day. They said, well, we're going to do this, that, and the other. And basically you can get off our program, or I don't know what you can do, but this is what we're fixing to do. We got a right to sell your information to another company. We got a right to do whatever we want to do with your private information. Anyway, but the new policy should be earth and human friendly. We won't deal with it tonight, but some of the challenges that we face into the stages we are now. There are detailed challenges that we'll face for sure, both internal and external. But the biggest one would be jihad and nas. That's right. If you want to write a few notes, because we're going to go through a few things, and I would like for, if it's not clear, to just ask some question about it. We talked about turning warships into peace ships, all that stuff we did. There's things where we are now, in each stage that we're in, like what the stage we're in right now, there's a cluster of activities that we should do, we would perform in order to go to the next stage. This is not new, you always do that. But there's a cluster of activities, organizational, management, all of that type of thing, that would place us solidly in the 2020 vision. Okay. Let's talk about some of the things that we've dealt with, who we are, where we're coming from. Definitely we're a miracle organization. There is absolutely no doubt about it. We're a miracle organization. Okay? Whether people recognize it or don't recognize it, whether they like it or don't like it, it don't make any difference. Because we are what we are. Okay? When we came to this city over 30 years ago, right? And June 23rd, 1989, that's when it was, that's right. And we got started. Okay, right away we had groups of people. We were inundated right away with the remnants of what they had been doing in D.C. We came to D.C. for a specific reason. When I left Oakland, I told them Washington. Okay, we had already opened a spot up in SeaTac, Seattle-Tacoma area. And so we was hitting like we was going to Seattle, Washington, just to get a couple of weeks run here. So we left here, we left Oakland with our old 1973 station wagon, I think it was, or a Fiat. A few dollars, we went up to a program in Canada. We used to always have big programs. We sold books up there. The car was loaded with books. When I got to D.C., we had sold $1,800 worth of books up there. That was what we started with here. So we came here with an old station wagon and $1,800. Later on, we either sold $992 worth of books to Halalco. Because a lot of the stuff, there was an Iranian brother working there, and a lot of the books that I had, Halalco wasn't stocked. That was our first big association with Halalco. Later on in books, we would actually equal Halalco to where we got a lot of our books from the same people overseas. When they came and visited them, they would request that I would be over there so we could all huddle together. But anyway, we got rolling. But we didn't get started alone. Remember, there was a crew here from day one offering us weapons and everything. First thing I do when I get here is Rashid got a car. Y'all remember Rashid? The head of Skiskettle Humley. And more. That was the funniest crew I ever seen. They come to the Masjid see, they always gonna overpower with numbers. I'm by myself. So they had a big green ledger book you know, them big giant ledger books. So they said, what we'll do is, we'll collect the money out of the box, you know, the cotton box. And it used to be right there by the stairs, you go down. And we'll write it down in this ledger, and then we'll give you back the money. I said, well, technically that don't make sense. I said, for instance, you know, all these notebooks I got, I said, I write it down myself. I said, ain't nothing but $5 in there anyway, so I write that down, and I said, that thing you got, that big old giant, just imagine them big green ledger, at least that big and that big, a big green ledger. It had ledger wrote on it. And so I mentioned them to mention that we were surrounded by all kind of people. What's his name used to live around the corner? During the Saudi days, he was supposed to be one of the Imams over at the Islamic Center. Abu Qasim. What's Abu Qasim? Remember Abu Qasim? Used to live right around the corner. What's his name? Abu Qasim. The big guy. Anyway.
Married the African sister?
Yeah. Yeah, that's his name though, right? He married a Sudanese lady. They lived right around the corner. They might have got a divorce or something like that. Yeah. But anyway, he came and he was supposed to be a knowledgeable man. And the thing that threw me off was we was having a fiqh class. Remember in those days we always had a fiqh class. And so he said he wanted to teach a fiqh class. He wanted to ease himself in. And he could read the Quran well. In fact, his son could read Quran. He'd come in reading real loud. His son come in here every now and then. He hadn't been here for a long time. Over a year, about a year. And so, when we was in the part about shortening prayers, I said, yeah, you can shorten and combine prayers and Dhuhr and Asr, Maghrib and Isha. So he said, you can shorten Maghrib prayer. I said, so what would you do? 1.5 rakats or 1.25? How would you do that? Remember, he's knowledgeable. He was a big shot over there. The Saudi, remember now, they done unloaded. Remember, we have never been left alone just to float around and do Islamic work. They saturated us from day one. It's not only the bubble-eyed crew, Aisha and them, was married to the guy with the big Coke bottle glass. What's his name? Yeah.
Jamal.
Was that it? His son might have been Jamal.
Yeah.
Anyway, they was all here. Everybody was here. We did martial arts together. Right? We did all of that. The little black fellow, it was 2 Negroes. And remember, when I would meet anybody or we would get to working together, I wouldn't buck my eyes and I said, oh, you guys just got in the military? Yeah. Well, what did you do? Well, we was in naval intelligence. The old thing is, once you're in intelligence, you always, okay. At the same time, Ahmed was working down there at Bowling, yeah. He was inviting me over to speak at doggone, whatever that base is, and doing everything else that was have your eyes getting big. But anyway, they said, yes, we worked in naval intelligence, and then the stuff they was doing. Oh yeah, one of them was that FBI police that I was talking about that took me out, and I bought, he bought a SKS, a rifle, and he bought Mossberg shotgun, the one with the short grip. I like that boy, you know, so that's nice. And it's good for home protection and everything. So he put his ID down, and I said, this is wonderful. So as soon as he did that, I said, okay, now, I invited, this guy used to come by here, he was definitely the police, Ali, whatever his name was. He was China Boy's cousin, Ali.
Kamua.
Yeah, good God Almighty. I wasn't suspicious of him until he told me what work he did. I wasn't suspicious. In 97 something, 95, 4, that era, I came back from South Africa. He said, yeah, I was over there too. I said, oh, what do you do? He says, well, I manage all the videos for U.S. embassies all over the world. And I said, well, I'd be doggone, that's nice. You know, as though they was. Anyway, so you could see, this stuff was so obvious, it was hilarious. So I knew where I was. That's why I came here. I said, well, I got all the game from Oakland, which I did. I had, let's say if it's you in the game and you get 90% of the game in Oakland. And so when you come here, you're just being reinforced about, you know, but you're picking up on those. I mean, so, no, I said to myself, I said, well, if I last 5 years here, I said, they're going to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, so I'm going to get all the game, which was absolutely the way it was. Okay? So anyway, they unloaded. The old crew that had been around the Iranians way back in the old days, which Abu Qasim them was one of, they was all part, that crew was all a part of those guys. I don't know if you remember Sharif now, the medical crew from Panama and all of that. It was one guy called Imam. He might have shifted out. He was married to Rafika, I think, one of those ladies. The one that got a divorce, he let one of the guys stay with him. The one, Amir, whatever his name was, used to do all the African history stuff. Yeah, he wrote stuff. He did him displays and all of that.
Right, I don't remember him. Yeah.
Well, you would remember
if I saw him.
Yeah, if you saw him, but even you would remember some of the work he was doing. Rafiq, Imani used to go all around talking that black talk, but he had all the information. He used to distribute them big flyers on COINTEL program and all that. You know, what it meant, who was doing it. Okay, he might have been doing it to scare everybody, you know, to show them what they're up against.
Right.
And he gave a lot of it to me, and I was already aware of it, but technically it would scare everybody, because everybody would talk about it. Now this is still the 80s, still late 89.
Right.
That's still a hint.
Yeah, I didn't come to like 92.
Yeah, 92, but still,
Yes.
okay, right. And Tufel came in 92.
Right.
Yeah, that was about that time.
Right. Okay.
But those people were, when I got here, when I was in the Masjid, I was there, I mean, the Jummah would be full, remember?
Yeah.
But I would technically be by myself. I was technically by myself, and I knew that all the time. Okay, and everybody that was around me was monitoring me. I'm gonna skip a little bit. We'll take all of that for granted. But who are we? Remember, We done had manna here. What was manna's job? Manna got a bounce off of the night, late 78, 70. The first time they come around with something like that was the Federation during Chiefs time. And a few people down in Dixie, Siraj and them was involved up there in New York. Now you got to remember, in manna we got Zaid Shaka, we got Hamza Youssef, we got literally all the Negroes. And the job of manna is to establish Muslim Alliance of North America, something like that. Okay, now remember at that time, if you took all of them individually and you took As-Sabiqun individually and you did the numbers and spots that was in operation, you got to remember, we had several places. Y'all went down, remember y'all went down to Dixie there, and yeah. The first thing the brothers down there told me is, what's the name with you? Is he supposed to be, we had a couple of programs in it. We had the early one. He said, is he supposed to be teaching that?
No.
Yeah, he said, he ain't teaching that. So I knew what, in fact, those same people, I told them, like I told Abdul Malik, I said that you're the police. You're just the police. That's all there is to it. If you want to see a cry, I don't know how they do it, but cry, big blubbery teeth, you know, I mean, snot blood. They can do it. They can do that. They do it. Hey, man, I said, good God Almighty. It didn't change my mind at all, but I said, okay, it's fine with me. So you want to help spread it? Yeah, so he went down. And then he had one of those jobs that he could, one of the big groups, organizations that have places all over the country. Not Sears, but one of them type of places. Was it Sears?
That was one in Best Buy.
Best Buy! Hey, man. He could be here today and he's somewhere else tomorrow. Got a job, got everything. And wherever he go, he can get hooked up. Remember when he was in Vegas? He gets hooked up in Vegas, hooked up. And that's what I was dealing with. No, that not was. That's what I deal with. That's life. That's the way it is. Ain't nothing you can do about it. The people come, they do their thing, and then they disappear. They don't stay and. But remember manna.